Adin Hill was immaculate in the epic Game 6 Vegas Golden Knights victory.
Welcome to Game 7!
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, here we go. Good morning. Welcome to the Chris and Chris edition of Locked On Vegas Golden Knights. You can catch us every Saturday morning on YouTube only, or you can catch Locked On VGK with myself and Tony Cordasco Monday through Friday, anywhere you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Today's show, we're going to talk about the keys to an absolute epic Game 6 victory. Myself and Chris will give an early preview of Game 7, and then we'll talk a little bit about the remaining teams in the NHL Stanley Cup Playoffs. Chris, last night, buddy, what do we think? You set the table. Talk about Game 6. Talk about Game 6. What'd you feel yesterday? We were there. It was fun. How you feeling today?
I thought that was a good game. We were definitely in a game. It was way better than we played on Thursday. If we can do this same thing in Dallas with no fireless breathing dragons, we could pull off a Game 7 victory and head against Colorado. That's been waiting for years.
So what did you like? I mean, you've watched most of the games this series, Chris. Is there something besides the Golden Knights winning, but is there something that you saw in this game that was different than the other games in this series?
Well, one thing the same is fireless breathing dragon. And one thing I thought we were doing a great job at, unlike Game 5, getting the puck in the offensive zone. I thought our defense played a lot better. I thought Adin Hill looked a lot better. And if we can do that in Game 7, we should be able to trigger getting Game 7 and put ourselves again against the 2022 Stanley Cup champions.
Yeah, I mean, so a little bit about that. We'll talk about the brackets later, but the Avalanche, regardless of whether it's Vegas or Dallas that comes out of this series, the Avalanche, they're in a nice spot. It's going to be a tall order for whoever wins the Golden Knights Dallas Stars series. So for me, some of the biggest differences that I saw, I mean, first, we can't go much farther without acknowledging a great, brilliant, and immaculate effort by none other than, I want to say Bruce Cassidy, but I can't yet. We got to start with Adin Hill. Hill had a remarkable game, a couple of posts. Mark Stone might have saved his bacon on that one penalty kill, but that's just part of the team game, right? A number of brilliant saves by Adin Hill, and you saw a confidence. Coach Cassidy, when he was talking about one of the reasons Adin got the Game 5 start, is the familiarity of the team looking over their shoulder and seeing Adin back there, seeing last year's Stanley Cup champion, seeing the stick save, Chris, right? You talk about that stick save all the time. So Adin Hill rewarded Coach Cassidy with a very tough decision. Adin Hill was good in Game 5, right, Chris? He wasn't bad. I don't think he was great, but he definitely gave the Golden Knights a chance to win. And now we saw this version of Adin Hill. So what do you think, Chris? Is Adin Hill, I mean, we know Adin Hill is going to be starting on Sunday in Game 7. Let's be clear about that. Do we think Adin Hill is back? And if the Golden Knights do win Game 7, do we think Adin Hill is ready to carry the Golden Knights on another deep playoff run?
Well, if we can advance tomorrow, which I really hope so, I think he'll definitely be the starter of how long it takes to beat the Avs.
He's the starter, Chris. My question is Adin Hill back? Is he the man? Is this last year's version of Adin Hill? Is our rock back? That's what I'm asking you, buddy. What do you think?
Well, last year was his best year. Guaranteed he's not.
Can he do better? Can he do better? Is Adin Hill back, little man? Come on.
The Adin Hill stick save will not, unless he does 2 in the playoffs, he will not become better than last season.
Well, Adin Hill, to be fair, Adin Hill did have a season or a postseason for the record books. I point this out all the time. Adin Hill had the second highest playoff save percentage in the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs, only a second to Tim Thomas, I believe, of the Boston Bruins, set probably 15, 20 years ago. So Adin Hill definitely, maybe we're not going to see a better version of the second best playoff performance of all time by a goaltender, but I think it's fair to expect that Adin is back, and I certainly hope we can see a long playoff run and see how far Adin can carry the Golden Knights. And let's not forget about Logan Thompson here, although I think a lot of people have, unfortunately. Logan put the Golden Knights in a good spot. Logan gave the Golden Knights a chance to win each of the first 5 games of this series. So Logan definitely was instrumental. And listen, Logan might be called upon should the playoffs extend for the Golden Knights. Some other keys to the game for me, Chris, one of the things you mentioned early on, little man, was the Golden Knights getting into the offensive zone. One of the things I wrote about on Inside the Rink was more creativity from the Golden Knights between the blue lines. It's easy to dump and chase, and hopefully you can do the chasing part and get the puck. But the Golden Knights, in my opinion, disguised their entries. And what I mean when I say disguised their entries, it looked like there was going to be a dump and chase, right? One of the wingers is going hard down the boards, and instead of just slapping the puck in from the red line, they're skating hard down the boards and stopping, and you got a Jack Eichel, a Chandler Stevenson, or another one of the forwards streaking down the middle. In some cases, one of the defensemen streaking down the middle, and you just get that short pass, and now it's almost like a power play entry, Chris, where you have that speed coming across the blue line, creating scoring chances. So that, for me, besides obviously what Adin Hill did, was one of the most important things for me in the game. What did you see as far as the Golden Knights generating scoring chances? Like, it definitely felt a heck of a lot better than watching Game 5 down in Water Street, didn't it?
Yeah, it's better to be in 18,000 seat arena than like not even 1,000.
What's that, buddy? What was that last part I missed you, little man?
It's better to be in 18,000 seat T-Mobile Arena than not even 1,000 Water Street.
Oh, you're talking Water Street? I mean, listen, of course we'd rather be a T-Mobile Arena than Water Street for a game, but it's still fun to be out there on Water Street with all the fans and stuff. We have a nice time out there. All right, so let's look at some just kind of stats from the game. So right now I'm on Twitter looking at hockey stat cards. After every game, they put out a report card, which basically shows how well the players did in multiple situations. Alex Pietrangelo was the highest rated Vegas Golden Knight, and it was by a landslide as far as his rating compared to everybody else. He almost hit, looks like it's about a 2.8, where the next highest Golden Knight was Braden McNabb with a 1.5. And what these numbers mean doesn't matter a whole lot, but Pietrangelo was great last night. He had so many scoring chances, set up a lot of scoring chances, played well on the defensive end, a couple weird puck things falling off his stick. That's going to happen. But Pietrangelo, you knew he was going to have a better game. Zach Whitecloud, I want to talk about Whitecloud for a second. Quiet game, but again, he has an entire shift, Chris. I pointed this out at the game where it was almost like he was a forward, where he just went with what was given to him. He was the one behind the net and then trying to find a soft spot right around the money zone, Chris, right around the money zone. You know what the money zone is. Looking for that soft spot to get a scoring chance. Whitecloud had a lot of confidence, and I think he had a nice little wake-up call when Ben Hutton replaced him. Eichel, Hurdle, and Marchessault didn't rate as high, unfortunately, but give that line some time. Fourth line, William Carrier, Nicholas Waugh, Colasar rated pretty well. I mean, a lot to like about this game. And honestly, the worst rated Golden Knights last night were Howden Amadio and Tony William Karlsson. So we'll see what that triggers to. One more stat I do want to point out are the high danger chances. So check this out. Golden Knights in the first period had 5-3 more high danger chances than the Stars. Second period, Stars had a lot of chances. They had 7-4 greater chances than the Golden Knights. But then the third period, when it mattered the most, the Golden Knights generated 4 high danger chances to 1 for the Dallas Stars. So final thoughts, Chris, about game number 6. What do you say, buddy? Without saying dragon.
File speeding drag.
Final thoughts about game 6, Chris. What do you got?
Roll the tape.
Fair enough. You're done. Okay. All right. Listen, for me again, one more time, Bruce Cassidy put it all out there. It was not the popular decision to run with Adin Hill once, let alone twice in a row. But look what happened. Everyone was calling for Pietrangelo to be benched. Look what he did. Whitecloud, no one was happy about Whitecloud coming back in the game. Look how well he played. So everyone relax, take a second, trust Coach Cassidy. He knows what he's doing better than me, better than you, better than little Chris, better than everyone that watches this podcast. So in Bruce we trust. And the last thing I do want to point out is back in the 2020 playoffs, if I'm not mistaken, that was the bubble year. Robin Lehner and Marc-Andre Fleury under Pete DeBoer. Game 6, the Golden Knights lose to the Vancouver Canucks. Game 7, it was a back-to-back scenario. It was really weird because of COVID back then and everything. Lehner plays Game 6. Marc-Andre Fleury is on the bench. Who does Pete DeBoer go back with? He leaves Marc-Andre Fleury on the bench and runs out Robin Lehner. Not a popular move. Lehner pitched a Game 7 shutout on a back-to-back starts to help the Golden Knights advance. So point being is just trust these coaches, trust Coach DeBoer. He knows what he's doing too, but yesterday's win goes to Coach Cassidy for an outstanding lineup and giving the Golden Knights the best chance to win. All right, that's Game 6, Chris. Game 6 is done. It's fairy dust. Tony loves when I say that. It's done. It never happened. Who cares? Now it's time to talk about game number 7. First thing I'll start with, Coach Pete DeBoer of the Dallas Stars. Chris, what do you think his record is in Game 7 scenarios?
0.
He's played 7. Coach Pete DeBoer, I believe he's been in 7 Game 7s. What's his record, do you think?
0, 6, and 1.
Well, there's no ties in playoffs.
0, 7.
Pete DeBoer is not 0-7 in Game 7s. He is 7-0 in Game 7s. Pete, look at Chris's look on his face. Pete DeBoer has never lost a Game 7. So Pete DeBoer certainly, I don't know what Coach Cassidy's record is for Game 7s. The one Game 7 that does unfortunately stand out with Coach Cassidy was when the Boston Bruins were defeated at home by the St. Louis Blues in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. And Pete DeBoer, Bruce Cassidy had to watch the St. Louis Blues celebrate. So that's the only Game 7 that stands out to me. I'm sure Coach Cassidy's probably had a couple more. Chris is doing something. This isn't good. So the Golden Knights are going to have to crack whatever Pete DeBoer has up his sleeve. What do you think, Chris? Does Coach Cassidy have it in him to hand Pete DeBoer his first ever Game 7 loss?
Well, I want to take it back to the 2019 finals. Where Boston forces a Game 6. A Game 7 is not supposed to happen against the 16th seed of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Game 7, the 16th seed wins the Stanley Cup against head coach Bruce Cassidy for the Boston Bruins.
I don't know if the Blues were the 16th seed though. They were the Blues were really low. Hey Chris, whatever you're writing, buddy. Let's focus on the camera. Focus on the camera. People want to see your face, not you writing, buddy. All right, so it's We'll see. I mean, listen, DeBoer is a very, very good coach, but Coach Cassidy finally, in my opinion, really stepped up. I felt the first 2 games of the series, the coaches were pretty much a wash, and then the series really took a turn for the positive for the Stars when they loaded up with Wyatt Johnson, Rupe Hintz, and Jason Robertson on the same line. The Golden Knights did not have a response for that. Stars reel off 3 victories in a row. Obviously, the Golden Knights are in the spot they were last night. And then Coach Cassidy loads up pretty well on the top.
You're giving me Game 7 stress.
What does that say?
Shut up, Big Chris. You're giving me Game 7 stress.
Got a shut up, Big Chris sign. Great. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. That's good. He's happy. All right. So, listen. It'll be fun to see what these coaches have in store. Coach Cassidy obviously gets the nod for A, sticking with Adin Hill, B, getting White Cloud back into the lineup. And then you also look at the forwards, loading up with Hertl, Eichel, and Marchessault. I don't think you're going to keep those 3 players down as far as yesterday. I mean, Ottinger had a great game. Let's make sure we're clear about that. The second line, I thought this was very interesting. Having Barbashev out there with Stevenson and Stone. Barbashev was effective. No points to show for it, but who cares? This isn't about scoring points. It's about having effective shifts. So what do you think, Chris? We're not going to do locks and predictions, but do you feel good about the Golden Knights' chances of advancing in game number 7?
Like I said, I really thought Game 5 was a cipher. Dallas won that, so I think Dallas handles Game 7, and we're gonna be bored for the rest of the summer watching Edmonton win the Stanley Cup.
Fair enough. We'll talk about your bracket and our bracket predictions once we get through this segment, Chris. Oh boy, what's he doing?
Okay.
All right. So listen, the Golden Knights had a really good Game 6. Chris, you felt the Game 5 winner was going to go on to win the series. I put out there on our podcast and probably somewhere out there on Twitter that I thought the Game 6 winner is going to go on to win the series. I put that out there before Game 5 played. So I'm sticking to my guns. Obviously, you know what side I'm going to be leaning on for tomorrow when we put our locks and predictions out there. I just felt that Game 6, whoever wins Game 6 is going to have the momentum. Whoever won Game 6, I think, goes into Game 7 with less pressure. Stars got to win a tough game at home. I'm not saying they can't. The Stars have a great crowd. And when that goal song starts playing for the Stars, it gets in your head. I don't care what the players say. When you got 17, 18, 19,000, however big American Airlines Arena is, when you got that many fans just singing along with that Pantera song, it gets in your head. Dallas seems like a great environment for a hockey game, and it's going to be so much fun to watch. Wherever we wind up watching the game, whether we're at home or Water Street or somewhere in Summerlin, it's going to be a great time. I'm excited. Game 7, this is why we are hockey fans. All right, shifting a little bit away from the Golden Knights, we're going to do a quick little updates. We're going to take a look around the NHL brackets and remaining teams in the chase for the Stanley Cup. We got a Game 7 today, Chris. What do you think, buddy? We got the Boston Bruins and Toronto Maple Leafs. You have 2 storylines, right? One of these teams finishes their story, Cody Rhodes. One of these teams finishes their story tonight. Can the Toronto Maple Leafs exercise the demons of getting out of the first round in dramatic fashion? We don't know the status of Austin Matthews, but they've won 2 games without Austin Matthews and the 69 goal scorer, whatever he got. Or you have the Boston Bruins and Coach Montgomery, Chris, who could become the first ever coach in basketball, hockey, and baseball history to lose consecutive first rounds when leading 3-1, Chris. How about that for a stats? 2 years in a row, Montgomery could lose after being up 3-1. This is about the time Bruins fans are missing Bruce Cassidy. So what do you think tonight? Toronto and Boston, Game 7. Who wins that game?
Well, you have 2 rivals here. If Toronto advances, you have a round 2 rematch. Actually, in round 2, if Boston advances, you have an even bigger rival from last year, round 1, and the 16th seed of the Stanley Cup playoffs last year.
It would be really fun to see Boston and Florida match up again. And the reason Chris is looking down, guys, if you're watching, he has a bracket down there, a little custom bracket he set up. So he's not looking away from the camera. He's looking at his bracket, so he has information to pass on here.
I think that's Toronto's game. They've done a really good job, and they've done a really good job in trying to catch up. And I feel like they're just the better team for Game 7s. I think Montgomery will lose consecutive game 7s, and Bruce Cassidy will only be laughing out loud.
Coach Cassidy might be laughing a little bit. I mean, Coach Cassidy has mentioned that there's always a little bit extra juice when you're playing against the team that fired you. And Coach Cassidy isn't rooting against anyone over there in Boston, but in the same breath, it adds a little chip on his shoulder if he is able to, especially if Cassidy brings the Golden Knights back from the deficit that they're in, and the Bruins do falter. So I think I'm with you, Chris. I think I'm going Toronto tonight. I just think Toronto has the momentum. I think Toronto has maybe come out as the better team for these last few games, and Boston just has a lot of questions. Toronto's going to come into this game free and easy. They're going to be looking to quiet down. Oh, he got it. He picked it up. All right, Chris, go ahead and show it, buddy, if you want. Go ahead and show it.
Sorry,
Chris has his brackets set up, I think. Let's see. Oh, boy, that's huge. There we go. Okay. Back it up. Perfect. Right there. Right there. That's good. Bring it back a little bit for light. There you go. There's Chris's magnetic bracket right there. Oh, there you go. Even better. You should have that light on the whole show, buddy. Come on. So there you go. There's Chris's bracket right there. Chris is keeping an eye on the playoffs for all of us. All right, put that down. Let's keep talking, buddy. Put that down there. We got to see your face. We got to see your face.
Sorry, can't knock the teams down yet. Our round series are not over.
Yeah, we still got more work to do. All right, so we know the Vancouver Canucks and Edmonton Oilers are facing off in round 2. What do you say very quickly about that series? Who wins that series? How many games?
That's a series looking for 7. I think Edmonton has it in the book. Vancouver will pull off game 1 and 2. Edmonton will go 3 and 4. Vancouver will fight back in 5 to make it 3-2 them, and Edmonton screams them out in the rest of the series.
In my bracket, I took Vancouver here. I did have Vancouver and Edmonton matching up in the second round, and I'm going with the upset here. To be fair, this was the Thatcher Demko-led Vancouver Canucks when I was putting my bracket together. Whether it's Casey DeSmith or Savalish, I forgot how to say his name. I know I probably butchered that. I'm sorry, Vancouver. But I'm sticking to my guns. I don't care that that's the third-string goaltender possibly playing. I'm going to go against Chris. I'm going Vancouver, and we'll see what happens there. I was wrong. I did pick Winnipeg over Colorado. That obviously was a whiff by me. The last matchup to talk about, Chris, Rangers, Hurricanes. The Golick house is divided. Christopher's second favorite team, the New York Rangers. My daughter Allie, her second favorite team, the Hurricanes. This might end up being the matchup of the second round and possibly a huge influence in who comes out of the East, buddy. So why are your Rangers going to win that round, Chris? I'm not going to ask you who, because I know who you're going to say.
My honesty tells me that, yes, the Rangers have a better chance in game 7. I think the Rangers win game 1. Carolina bounces back to win the next 3 to make it 3-1. And then boom, 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 boom. And then New York wins in 7.
You just want drama, Chris. You're all for the drama right now. You're setting the scene well. We gotta get you to start writing some hockey books or something. I think it'd be all drama. It'd be have people on the edges of their seats right there. So, all right. So there is the current update and what myself and Chris think will end up happening in round 2 for the matchups that have already been established. So, all right, Chris, let's go back for a moment to game 7. How exciting is a game 7? Like, how exciting is that? What are your emotions? Are you stressed out? Put that down. Put it down. Are you stressed out? Are you excited? Does it feel like it's taken a long time for 4:30 tomorrow to come? What are you feeling when you think about Game 7 right now?
I feel like it's been a year since the Golden Knights just beat the Dallas Stars 2-0 with the Mark Stone.
So time is going slow right now for you.
Yes, very.
Okay. What else do you feel, Chris? Are you excited? Are you nervous? Like, come on, give me something here, buddy. Give me something.
Excited, nervous, stressed.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I get all that, and you're no different than most of the Golden Knight fans. I think everyone's nervous. They're excited. For those that follow this, it's the Jack Nicholson crazy face. Like, it's exciting. It's chaotic. It's everything all in one. For me, it's fun. I mean, of course, I would like the Golden Knights to win for a lot of reasons, as Chris mentioned earlier, mainly so we got something to talk about on this podcast for another 2 weeks. But outside of that, it's the hockey fan. It's Game 7, right? So there's 82 regular season games. Now you have the Dallas Stars and Golden Knights playing their 89th game of the season, where the first 88 games, they're important, that set the scene for the playoffs. But at the end of the day, one game matters. And for me, I mean, I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a tight checking, low scoring game. Hopefully it's good mistake-free hockey from both teams. You don't want either side to commit a bad penalty or just do something unfortunate that leads to it. You want the game. You want to see the best team win this game, regardless of which side it is. Of course, in Vegas, we know which team we'd like to win, but I want to see a good game. I want to see a hard-fought game. I want to feel the emotion. I want to feel the excitement. I want to feel the highs. I want to feel the lows, and it's fun, right? It's fun. It's exciting. Chris is a statue, so obviously his emotions have already taken the best of him. So there we go. That's my take on Game 7. Chris, anything else that we're going to talk about, or are we done?
Roll the tape.
Chris says we're done. All right, one more time here. Let's see.
Roll the tape.
Finally, this fireless breathing dragon. Finally, the Golden Knights won a game with the dragon in there. Finally. Tyler, I was looking for fire last night. I was disappointed. Maybe the Golden Knights, if they move on, maybe we can find it in the budget to get a sparkler or something on that dragon. All right, everybody, we're done.
There better be some fire if we play Edmonton in the conference final.
I hope so, but I don't think so. All right, thank you very much, everybody, for checking out the Chris and Chris edition of Locked On Vegas Golden Knights. Always a special show for me. I love hanging with Tony every week, but of course, it's always special to get the family involved. So thank you all who do take a few minutes on your Saturday mornings to check this out. Thank you to the everydayers who do check out the show Monday through Friday with myself and Tony Cordasco. Thank you to the super everydayers who give us some time on your busy weekends. There will be a Sunday edition of Locked On Vegas Golden Knights with myself and Tony. We will preview this all-important Game 7 of the first round between the Vegas Golden Knights and the Dallas Stars. For myself, for little Chris, thank you so much 1,000 more times. We really appreciate y'all. Have a great day. Enjoy your Saturday. Take care.